Hello everybody, welcome back to a new episode. You're joining me tonight at the earlier time of 3:02, so bear in mind this one was filmed not long after the markets opened because that's about 2:30 UK time. But basically guys, this stock is up again. It's obviously Blackberry stock and we've got a lot to talk about around this stock because you know what, over the past month or so it's really starting to pick up some traction, and tonight we talk about why this could potentially be and whether you may or may not want to have a look into this one and of course potentially buy it. Well, I am not a financial advisor and I do recommend that you do your own research, but tonight I'm going to be giving my personal opinions on why this may be going up so high and what may happen in the future. If it sounds like a plan for a good episode guys, please leave a like and subscribe. We are trying to grow the channel as much as possible, so every single subscriber would help us out. With that being said though, we're going to jump straight in and obviously have a quick talk about how the stock price has been moving, then have a little bit of a more deep dive over the past few years on how this one has been moving and basically why. So realistically guys, over the past 6 months you can see this one is rocketing extremely highly, and a lot of this is due to hype coming from Reddit and of course Wall Street Bets. Now fair enough to them, they do have a few reasons in my personal opinion. I'm not saying that these are 100% the reasons, but looking at it I can kind of understand where they are coming from, but where this one could be going could be a different path, but we're going to be talking about that in just a moment. So first thing what we're going to do is to give a bit of context, and of course going back to previous years, if you do remember, these phones were everywhere, these little Blackberry phones. This is back in about 2010, maybe a bit earlier, maybe a bit later, but basically these phones were very popular for a very long time. Obviously they weren't very good to be honest, looking back from what we have now, but once the iPhone came out in about 2007, these phones kind of became a lot more irrelevant as they were a lot harder to use and all that kind of good stuff. Now from there, Blackberry did try and advance their technology by making them touchscreen phones. However, these ultimately failed unfortunately, and what ended up happening is that Blackberry moved away from producing phones. Obviously it was kind of a smart move looking at what they are actually doing now, because what they are doing now is basically vehicle technology and autonomous vehicle technology as well. So basically guys, at the minute, they also have technology which is partnered with many different car brands such as Mercedes-Benz, BMW to name a few, and all of these technology pieces basically can provide real-time information from a vehicle to the manufacturer of the vehicle. Now of course, a lot of this autonomous stuff is not 100% there yet, but Blackberry with their QNX is really setting the way in advancing this type of technology, and I think it's really cool that they are doing this. So obviously, like I said, a lot of this is already on multiple different cars, but the technology is going to be advancing in the future, but some of it is already there, so please do remember that. I think this is really a much smarter move for Blackberry, as like I said, their phones weren't doing very well. Looking at this now, there is still a lot of growth potential for future years, and they already have some very good partners like I just said. But yeah, looking at this one, they actually also have some very decent patents for technology. Now I do believe it was Facebook that they had to settle one with earlier this year, or at least in 2020, where Facebook had a bit of their information or their technology and was using it in their own products. Now don't get me wrong guys, Blackberry actually has a lot more patents for other products which of course other companies are using. Now if this company was to claim on those patents and take these companies to court and whatnot, they could definitely get those back and probably make some money off them. On top of that, they have apparently been selling patents to Huawei, which is of course a Chinese phone manufacturer, so you know what, there's an extra bit of deal. But I think a lot of the hype coming from this one is due to the patents being, hopefully recovered into the future, because it does show that all of these companies which are currently producing this technology could actually be working around Blackberry, as Blackberry would have the overall information and design features needed to make the product. So of course that would definitely present a potential increase in revenue for the future. So realistically, those factors do bring some hopeful growth for the future if we are lucky. And I say that in the sense that yes, the products are decent, the autonomous driving is very good, and of course moving into the future it's going to get better. A lot of brands already use it, like I said, a lot of the more high-end brands, and I think a lot more will be using it in the future on top of this. But overall guys, what I'm trying to say is, you know what, the patents as well brings a lot of hope into people's minds when it comes to looking at this stock, because I think, they are definitely going to see an increase in revenue due to those hopefully recovering those patents. But you know what, looking back on the charts, like I said, this one is rallying up quite heavily. Now I've said this before in the early part of this video, but I think a lot of this hype is coming from the Wall Street Bets and also related communities, because yes, this stock is a decent stock in my opinion, but you know what, let's look at it realistically. We've gone from a price of about $5 up to about $7, fair enough, but from there, over about the last few days, from about the 11th of January onwards, we've seen a huge increase of 174% in just a few days. Now don't get me wrong, the information that we have around Blackberry is potentially good, but I don't think it warrants a growth of that much. And even when we look down to here, according to MarketWatch, Blackberry is not even aware of the reason for its recent trading activity. Now, yes, like I said, the Wall Street bets is probably helping that as well, and the patents is also probably helping that, but realistically, let's face it guys, not really any news has broken realistically regarding the company. I mean, yes, we have had little bits of information here and there, but nothing significant that would warrant a 200% increase in share price. And for that reason, guys, I would say yes, Blackberry is probably a decent stock for the future. It's currently touching $20, but we need to look at this one realistically. Even if this is the best company in the world in the next few years, it's a case of, you know what, the stock is up so high, I personally do believe it will go down a little bit. There has been some buy ratings which have been decreased on the stock recently, and I can kind of understand why, and I do kind of feel that this one could definitely go down with some potential, you know, investors selling out with their profits, as a lot of people will have gotten back here, you know, getting decent prices, and I think now they will be happy to sell out, so fair enough to them, and I can really understand why. But looking at this one into the future, guys, there really is some potential for this one. Honestly, the QNX technology is very cool, and like I said, if they do get those patents back, that is information that could really help to grow the business, but I don't think it should be growing this fast in my opinion. I think if it was to level out now, it would be pretty decent. If we were to see a little bit more growth at a slower rate, I think that would also be decent, but realistically, I think there is a chance that we could see a sell-off in the next week or two, because like I said, even though it is a very good stock in my opinion, you know what, there is a lot of hype around this one on Wall Street bets. I just think that a lot of people will be selling off once they get to a high price, but that's just my opinion, guys. I hope you enjoyed the quick video. If you did, please do leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye until then.